Have you ever traveled through time? We do it every day.
Asgardia is a country with a population of more than 1 million people from more than 200 countries on Earth. Asgardia gives everyone equal opportunities, no matter what their earthly status is.
It is possible to create and live in the future right now. Are you ready? Forward progress is the solution to the entire human race. Our mission is to bridge new horizons. In Asgardia, there is no limit to the universal development in the fields of technology, finance, and arts. Asgardia is a new space and digital economy which creates opportunities for the global economy. We deliver innovations. Do you want to get on board with us? We are developing various kinds of digital businesses, attracting them to the Asgardia platform that can be backed by the means of our umbrella, i.e. franchising of the Asgardia brand. We can not only attract investments into space programs from prominent institutional investors, but also affordable amounts from the citizens of Asgardia. We comprise of more than 1 million people.
Asgardia is a chance to realize one's dream. This is a dream-driven space nation. Asgardia is a chance to belong to a community of free-thinking enthusiasts, goal-driven dreamers, and fearless innovators, theorists, and scientists.
We are the first space nation. One humanity, one unity.
Asgardia.
We are creating
the future.
Camera, and now in my, I think it's my program, because now I have my phone cell and always have a camera phone cell.
Don't worry, we can hear you. That's wonderful.
Okay. What happened with our telepathy topic?
We are waiting for him. Also by share.
No, we are
Peter
leaving now.
Mohan. Yes, he's here. Isn't here.
I think he's at the train station still.
Okay. Are you traveling in the train?
Hello, Ricky.
Hello. How's everyone doing?
So funny, the cats, the Facebook cat that you share in the Slack. Thank you, Ricky.
Yeah, I figured you all needed that.
Okay, welcome, Chairman Lambert.
Greetings, Earthlings. I'm sorry about the delay. I'm just basically still traveling.
We know.
Oh, okay. John, you look very big on my screen. Can it be smaller, please?
We can hear you, John.
I was going to tell him I am very big. 265 pounds worth.
How much?
265.
No way.
Yeah.
I don't believe it for a moment.
No, that's the truth. It's being down here in the southern states. We like eating
You've
a
got
lot.
great food, that's the thing. So,
yeah, and most of it's fat food.
Well, you know what? People who don't eat nicely, they don't live longer. They just feel it's longer. So,
yeah.
Right. So, let's start in 1 minute. that's okay with you. I'm wearing a tie today.
You look very handsome.
Yeah,
Now I know
I'm
you're a liar.
traveling in the train with a tie. That's wonderful, gentlemen.
Right, I got to do this, and then you can't actually see that I'm on the train. Right, let's start now. Greetings, everybody. Good to see you all. I've only got 3 things, very quick. First of all, I'm hoping that Peter will be here because I lost my my
He asked
signal.
me. He asked me to do it.
Okay, we'll come to that in a short while. 2 other things. We are doing really good work in terms of the other 2 items. One is the digital sittings, and Peter and John have got quite a big responsibility there. So let's make sure that we actually get this right. So, John, I'm going to hand over to you that in a minute. The second one is there's a massive uplift in the interest in space news. I think that we can actually do something useful for that. I think specifically that we can actually do something which will make it possible for us to get maybe 500 to 1,000 new residents in the next 7 days, just by proposing that other people get involved in what we're doing already. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think that I'm probably right. As far as I'm concerned, this is about just doing the right thing. So the question I've got for all of you is, what can we do in terms of getting just ordinary people to actually spend €100 a year to be part of our mission? Sean, do you want to update us on our chairs meeting?
Sure. The main thing we talked about and discussed in the meeting, and we had a great time discussing it. Well, we were talking about reaching out to other nations, as far as getting recognition, by those nations and what nations that we would choose, and Peter actually, uh, he actually gave us some homework of picking 2 nations and how we would approach them and whatnot. And we're to bring that with us to the next meeting, each chair, to discuss how we would approach those nations. And he wants us to pick at least 2 that we would be willing to approach. So, yeah, and we talked about protocols, uh, as far as reaching out to these nations, so trying to make sure we try to keep proper protocols. And it was exciting. It's a little bit scary too, if I have to admit.
Why scary?
Think that
Why
I might.
scary?
Well, because with somebody like me, I don't do well with rejection. So, and if I get rejected, I'm not going to be. It'll take me a week or 2 to get over it. But it's just one of those fears that I haven't managed to get rid of yet. But and now what you said earlier about what could we do, believe it or not, one of my committee members brought forth 2 pieces of legislation, uh, that uh, that I'm working on right now for the Trade and Commerce, uh, that deals specifically of what you're talking about as far as how we can increase residency. And they're very good. I'm actually quite pleased with them, both as the chair and as the chair of the LMRG. I think he did an excellent job. So I'm working on those now. I think they're very good ideals. Um, and when I get something together, of course, uh, after he looks at them and approves whatever, I mean, there's really not a whole lot that has to be done, but I think they need to go into a different angle in order to become law. I think the angle that he was approaching won't get us there. So I'm more or less reformatting it to a different angle that I think will get us there.
You're so
We'll get the
arrogant.
law. Huh?
You're so arrogant.
No, that wasn't arrogance. That's
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
okay.
This is your
Anyway,
job.
it's
This is your
professional.
job
Yes.
to actually do this.
Oh, oh.
The alarm might go off, might not. If it does, I'll try to turn it off while I'm running.
Okay. All right. Anyway, so yeah, and that was well, it's one of the committee members for right now. I don't know if he won't be saying his name right yet. So, but I will work on those, and they mostly deal with exactly what you're talking about, and they not only do they may help get more residents, but they also may help get more Asgardians involved with Asgardia. Um, uh, and create some create some credibility to Asgardia as well as far as our inner workings of Asgardia. I'm actually quite excited about them, but I don't want to say too much until we
You
get
don't want to
everything
jinx
worked
it,
out.
basically.
Yeah. So, but that's my input. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, John. Peter and John are doing a great job on that committee, and John has probably the most important committee.
You locked up.
You muted. You muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Great. Peter and John have really important jobs. And John is actually dealing with a very important committee, which is legislative merit review group. I think that if we actually do this right, we will be a role model, which people will pay for on the UK and also in terms of the world generally. We can never be politicized, always has to be about the process. So I actually think that we can actually do an awful lot of good work there. John, do you think that we can actually export this?
Oh yeah, that sounds. Well, I think that a lot of the things that Asgardia has done could be used as a model um, for other nations. I wish that we had that kind of participation with other nations so they could actually see what we're doing because we've done some really outstanding things over the years, um, and uh, like and
You
even
sound
this
you
just
sound doubtful, John.
well, no, it's just it's hard to get some another nation's political structure to accept another nation's political structure um, without benefiting it from it in some sort of way politically, and and in fact, it's almost impossible. And even then, yeah, there's that traitor mentality. Like, oh, if you talk to them, you're a traitor. That you have to deal with. So, and that's where that's the only doubts that I have. But if people could see, I'm hoping every day, and I pray every day that somebody of influence that in the world, in the political scene, actually does look at some of the stuff that we do. Just happens to go through there and look at it and say, hey, you know what? This is pretty good stuff. Even our platform here, even the way we conduct ourselves, and in our digital parliament. I mean, that's exceptional how we how we managed to get all that done, and the fact that we do this with all these other different nations at the same time, and the Prime Directive Act that that we're working on now in the MRG is a perfect example. That's an interstellar law that nobody's done yet. No other nation has done this yet, and we have a viable international law that's really looking great. And if it passes, that'll be an exception. That'll be exceptional to Asgardia. That be the first nation to have passed an interstellar law. So, yeah, I, Asgardia's got me convinced as being one of the best places in the world. But we need to work on the world and get them to focus on us, and I think that's what we're doing. I really liked a lot of the advertising I've been seeing on Facebook and stuff that the Asgardia media has been doing here lately, and it's been getting recognition too. I've noticed on my uh, on my Facebook page that people are liking it and hitting the like button and sharing it, and there's some sharing going on. But it's what we need, and I'm very pleased with what they're posting. So I'm glad to see that's going on.
Thanks,
and that
John.
will help us get recognition.
Ricky. Ricky.
Sorry. One of the things, though, with what we discussed in the other meeting, we will most likely, and using the people that would be able to do that within Parliament or the NGO as a whole, may have to, along with setting up relations to try and, at least ways to get a country to recognize us, would have to, like you said last week, there'd be some investing, which apparently there's some funds for that, and also some volunteer type assistance to them, not so much for monetary gain, but to show that, we're serious about what we're doing. That I think is going to be a critical thing right there, is donating some of Asgardia's scientific background in space to these countries and stuff, once, if they should recognize us, and, they have a space agency and stuff. I just think that's a critical thing that really has to be thought about, because yeah, you can invest money, but also too, at the same time, donate donate some of the skill. Don't worry about the monetary, because that'll come later. That's all I got. That was it.
Thank you. Let's go to Ariadne next.
All right, thank you very much. Well, regarding the spot that Rebecca Bear spread to the media, I want to share my screen because I'm trying to connect with the idea of her and with the idea that we want to create something different. With that, define a clear propose, publish authentic and valuable content, encourage interaction. We need that. Many people only put like, I like, or a heart or something like that, an emoji, but don't have the great connection with the people. Use tools like events or live, alive. We need to connect with the people face to face. We inclusive and accessible is another thing. Celebrate collective and individual achievements. Create a safe space. Many people say, oh my God, I don't want to stay in a specific place because in the past somebody hacked me. We need to create the safe space. Explore emerging platforms. And here we are talking about that in the other meeting, Threads, Blue Sky, and others. But it's not to create a many if we don't create the best, that is the encourage interaction. Define a clear purpose for each others, for all that niches of power, that niches of the spread, the idea that we are want the people know. Well, this is my idea and my collaboration. You can read it in the language that you want here. All right. All right. Maybe not with the real clarity, but it's possible. It's possible. And many people follow me with that tool to create some kind of interaction. I need more, but well, we are in the pot. That is my collaboration today. Thank you very much. We lost Lambit.
Sorry, no, you found me again. Sorry, I just lost the signal for a minute there. I heard what you were saying. Also, just a couple of comments about what you said, Ariadne, and I heard it, but I didn't find it possible to respond. You are basically right, but we have to be strategic, and I think John's going to say that now. John, you're not going to read from a very big book, are you?
I know it's the Constitution.
Okay, it's a very big book. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Actually, I'd have done that myself if I wasn't chairing now.
Yeah, well, and it's funny that you just should say strategic, because that's exactly where I was coming from. I was like, how in the world did he read my mind?
Because I'm listening,
But,
because I pay attention. That's why.
oh, okay. But, well, this has to deal with, as far as us Parliament reaching out to other nations to join, to get Asgardia recognized. And we do have to be strategic about that, because right now, the way it sounds, you're asking us to have foreign relations, and we can't do that according to this Constitution.
Why
But
not?
we can.
Why not? Why not?
The Constitution doesn't give us those powers; it gives it to government.
Okay.
What it does give us the power to hold preliminary hearings, investigations, including summoning representatives of government bodies. So we need to work this. We need to be strategic. We can do it, but we need to be strategic about it. And this needs to have a legislative content to it, where we're investigating, or we're using our investigative powers, which we have, and we can contact governmental representatives under those powers. But we can't do foreign relations. That falls under government, which is the ministers. But so we need to come up, and I would say, Chair, you would probably have to be the focal point on that, is come up with the why behind, the purpose behind why we're doing, and give it a legislative context to it. so that we stay legal within our powers. But I'm just throwing that out there. I'm not trying to be not trying to sap anything out of anything, but we do have a constitution, and you know me, I like reading it a lot. So, but it doesn't give us any foreign relations powers, but it strictly gives those to government. But it does give us investigative and hearing powers that we can that allows us to contact representatives from governmental bodies and businesses. So that's all we need. We just need to have a legislative context to what the reason why we're doing it, the purpose behind it.
Let me tell you this, John. If you can actually get a nation to recognize us, a nation which is actually part of the United Nations, you will be a hero. You will have the Purple Heart. You'll have anything that you need by way of recognition. We need to get one nation which is recognized by the United Nations to recognize us. It's as simple as that, John.
Well, no, I agree. I agree, but surely we can do this in a way, and I'm thinking like the Prime Directive Act. I could definitely work that in. I can introduce them saying, hey, we've created this legislation for interstellar law, and we'd like your input, and somewhere in there, we'd like to have your recognition, recognize us as a nation, and everything, and the work, and we'd like to start negotiations, show you some of the work we've been doing, et cetera, whatever. But and that I can do, but that would be a legislative context, or the Foreign Affairs Act, or some other act that we're investigating like foreign affairs. We want to investigate our foreign affairs procedures in the act to see if we need to improve those procedures within the act. Okay, I'm just trying to keep us legal here. Okay, so but something like that, and then that purpose needs to be told to all the parliament so that they can they can do those things under that power that has been given to us. But but if it's for foreign relations, then we'd be working out of our purview, and uh, uh, I just don't want to ruffle any feathers uh, somewhere down the road.
You've always looked like Big Bird to me.
Yeah.
You haven't seen Sesame Street. That doesn't make any sense.
Out there. Throwing it out there.
Right. Here's how I see it, people. And I'll come back to Rick in a second. We are on the verge of fulfilling a dream. I have no doubt about that now. I've got to give the next 4 years to Asgardia. And I know that you people turn up for the same reason. We will find a nation which will recognize Asgardia, a nation which is already recognized by United Nations. At that point, everything else happens. Why? Not for our benefit, but for the benefit of the human race. Because suddenly we find a nation which doesn't solve its problems through war, but through peace. Ricky.
Yeah, I agree with what John's saying on that. But as it is, until we get a FA minister, then it's basically up to us to try and reach out.
Yes.
Now, in doing so, if by some chance we are able to accomplish what we're wanting to do, that will probably make it easier for someone to be found to be the foreign affairs minister. Until that time, it's up to us. And there's just really no way around it because I don't see anyone on the government side, coming to discuss anything with us on this. So yeah, it's up to us to get the job done.
We will find a foreign minister, or at least Asgardia will, and I'm sure it's going to be this year. But fundamentally, the issue here is we know what we need to do. John.
Yeah, I mean, and that's right. And like I said, I'm all for the project. I just want us to stay within the context of what we can do. But Ricky made a good point. Like we're looking for first minister can add incorporate that into the letter that you're writing. I actually reached out to the United Nations. Now, have they answered me? No, not yet. And I reached out to them on a legislative bill. It was an inquiry, and um, uh, I've tried to follow up on that several times, and they still not answered me. But regardless, I I did, and I used their protocols as the way they said to use them. I researched that first to make sure I had my letter presented right and everything. But uh, but like Peter said, if we do nothing, then we get nothing. So we have to do something. And so I will send a letter to two nations. I will do it under a legislative context. I'll work that in somehow, and but also mention other parts about hey, we're which would probably be foreign affairs related, but it'll be more of a um, it won't be the direct purpose of the whole letter. It'll be just a mention in the letter. So uh, that's the way I've planned on doing mine. Now, if I get an answer back, hey, that's great. If I don't, well, it's still I did something. So, and like Peter told us in our meeting, he said, if you do nothing, you get nothing. So we need to do something, whatever it is. We need to do something and try to be professional about it. But yeah,
John, you're quite right. Basically, as far as I'm concerned, what you said is completely correct. We need to get out of this place with more residents, with more money, and with a sense of purpose. We've got this already internally. We just have to do it externally. Sarah.
Thank you. My question to John, given current and pending legislation, is there anything blockchain related that we could also legislatively use to reach out to other nations?
John?
Did you hear me?
well, yeah, of course, because we have blockchain legislation, and you may want to explore other avenues of blockchain that Asgardia might not have considered that could be used in an amendment to the legislation with the blockchain legislation in it. Boom, you got you got an avenue right there, and you can investigate that. So and so you can reach out, and that's, I actually thought about that when you said that. What was it, Perma, or the nation that you were talking about? What was that nation you said?
Mentioned about 8. Malta.
Malta. When you might, Malta is trying to become the blockchain capital of the world. Well, see, that could easily be worked into something that Asgardia could work with because Asgardia deals with blockchain. So our pay system, or what we get paid, our wallets are all blockchain, and then there's other things that are blockchain. So and and there is legislation on blockchain. So yeah, we could definitely work that in. So yeah, and that was a good suggestion. Malta was, but yeah.
Sarah so pleased she took her glasses off. I always know when you're driving, but it looks like you're driving around the world. Anything else that anybody needs to say before I go about two absolutely vital action steps, which I'll share now. Number one, we're talking serious business about recognizing us, recognizing nations that recognize us. The second thing is, John and Sarah have been talking about this, the blockchain thing. This is actually slightly outside my experience, but I'm pretty sure that somehow we can actually get into the digital world in a way which I don't completely understand. But Sarah and John might want to have a chat offline about that. The single most important thing to recognize is we're just about to make an absolute transformation for Asgardia. And I'm into my concluding comments now. So raise your hand if you want to say something. There is no doubt in my view now that we are going to be center stage for the next 10, 15 years, because somebody's going to send something to Mars, and we will be the archetype, we'll be the blueprint, we'll be the precedent for how that society needs to be run. And that's exciting. Anybody else? Thank you, everybody. I will, can I just ask one last question, which is, Sarah, how's Brooks?
We are actually on our way to the hospital now. So hopefully some good news in the not too distant future.
That's great. The most important thing that we do is we are humans. And that's great. Thank you, everybody, for this evening. Interesting conversation, quite heavyweight. I can simply say that unless we do it, nobody else will. And I'm very proud of us. I'm proud of you, because we put people first and family first. When Sarah and her family are living in space, you'll be further away, but you won't have to wear a seatbelt, because it'll be all or nothing. We got to 29 today, so when we get to 14, I'll shut it down. Thanks, everybody. If you'd like to join Asgardia, then go to Asgardia, the Space Nation, and you'll find us there. It's very cheap to join, but it's priceless what we're trying to do. So thanks so much indeed. John, thanks a lot also. And good luck with your hospital visit, Sarah.
Absolutely, Sarah.
We can stop the recording, and that'll be great.